Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Bill Maher has been vocal about pushing back against what he sees as extreme or confusing woke positions, and this time he set his sights on Whoopi Goldberg. Her recent remarks sparked confusion, and Maher didn't just disagree. He systematically dismantled her reasoning point by point. The exchange quickly escalated, turning into a tense, heated moment. What triggered Maher's reaction? A mix of contradiction, unclear logic, and a comment that struck him as simply too much to ignore.
Get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is what...
Whoopi kept circling the same talking points, dodging Maher's central argument instead of responding directly. As the discussion went on, her frustration became more visible, especially as her position started to weaken under pressure. Maher was highlighting practical issues many African Americans care about: safer communities, affordable housing, reliable jobs. But Whoopi unexpectedly redirected the conversation toward backing a former prosecutor, making her argument feel disconnected. Maher immediately spotted the inconsistency, and the resulting back and forth grew tense and uncomfortable to watch.
People can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Maher's sharpest line of the night hit hard. It's not that I've become older, it's just that your ideas are stupid. With that, he dismissed the argument entirely. He suggested the worldview being presented felt scattered and exaggerated, driven more by outrage than clear reasoning.
Statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are...
Maher then shifted to the asterisk idea of President Joe Biden potentially pardoning Hunter Biden, using it as an example of political double standards, rather than asserting it had actually happened. He argued that if such a pardon were ever granted, it would contradict claims that no one is above the law, highlighting how powerful families often seem insulated from real legal consequences under existing systems.
It's valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time, and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is, he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
Confusion grew when she tried defending Biden's stance, suggesting he changed his mind after watching others escape consequences. The reasoning sounded bizarre, stretching logic past its limits, and Charlemagne was stunned by how far she took the argument.
I'm going to stop you for a second. Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed it.
You really think he just changed his mind on Thanksgiving weekend?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get old.
Maher argued that the problem with the woke crowd isn't passion, it's inconsistency. They demand fairness loudly, but only when it suits their side. The moment someone they support slips up, accountability disappears and is replaced with emotional excuses. Maher highlighted how this selective outrage undermines real progress, reminding everyone that facts don't shift based on political preference. His criticism struck a nerve, because it reflected a growing frustration with hypocrisy and double standards that many people feel but rarely hear addressed so directly.
On the principle, there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
Maher also blasted mainstream media for shielding the powerful, arguing that the Hunter Biden story was sidelined before the election not because it lacked truth, but because it disrupted preferred narratives. Rather than reporting it transparently, major outlets downplayed or delayed it. Whoopi insisted it was Russian misinformation, a claim already disproven. Maher pointed out how this selective coverage doesn't just inform the public. It actively shapes opinion, revealing how media bias can distort national conversations.
Well, I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. They don't have.
Maher then delivered one of his sharpest lines. America is run by mean girls. He wasn't referring to teenagers, but to powerful social circles that pressure others into adopting the correct opinions. He suggested that panels like Whoopi's silence dissent and push conformity, functioning more like exclusive cliques than open forums. Instead of encouraging honest debate, Maher argued they rely on guilt, pressure, and emotional framing rather than solid ideas.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit. Here to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you
No,
don't
but
follow
I'm saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No,
Maher argued that the party often drifts into moral preaching that doesn't affect real life. He criticized progressive activists who act as if they understand racism better than those directly affected. His point was clear. Most Americans aren't immersed in online activism, and for them, tangible, everyday issues, like jobs, safety, and housing, matter far more.
Any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be.
Maher explained that Trump's victory reflected millions of Americans rejecting the alternatives, not embracing chaos. Voters were pushing back against an outdated political system. He emphasized that elections are straightforward. Losing doesn't always indicate a conspiracy, but often a simple preference for change over the status quo.
Run for office as if the voters don't live here. As if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office. But they do. When a poll last year asked if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Maher argued that a party advocating extreme foreign policies or controversial social issues, like allowing biological men and women to compete together in sports, becomes disconnected from everyday voters. His message to Democrats was clear. Focus on practical concerns that affect most Americans, not fringe debates.
Coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him, they certainly are those, and then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-communist.
At the show's conclusion, Maher joked about supporters claiming Whoopi's backlash was karma. He dismissed that idea, saying life isn't ruled by karma, yet sometimes events align in a way that's just plain funny. His final remark, likening the situation to a hunter trampled after chasing wild animals, underscored the irony rather than offering any moral lesson.
Saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher ended the exchange with assuredness. while Whoopi's attempts to respond only highlighted contradictions in her own statements. He transformed the segment from a simple critique into a structured, compelling argument, keeping the audience fully engaged. By addressing political tension head-on, Maher not only dominated the discussion, but also reinforced why his perspective continues to resonate, demonstrating clarity, sharp reasoning, and an ability to cut through the noise in today's debates.